Assalamu alaikum. Today on Neuron Academy, we discuss the ethics of creation, an Islamic perspective on CRISPR. If you benefit, please support by subscribing and sharing as a sadaqah. We're standing at, well, a truly monumental crossroads, where our faith meets the very future of science. You see, for the first time in all of human history, we aren't just reading the book of life, we're actually learning how to rewrite it. So let's just start with a possibility, something that sounds like it's been pulled straight from science fiction, but honestly, it's closer than any of us might think. And it's a question that could literally redefine what it means to be human.
I mean, just pause and think about that for a moment. The ability to go into our own biological source code and just delete the errors that cause so much pain and so much suffering in the world. What if we could simply,
Get rid of hereditary blindness? To allow a child to see this beautiful world for the very first time without the shadow of some genetic condition hanging over them. And it wouldn't stop there. What if we could also target the very mutations that lead to cancer, treating it at its absolute root before it even has a chance to begin? Now, this would be more than just a cure, wouldn't it? It'd be this profound act of prevention. A mercy, really.
So what we're really talking about here is the power to prevent inherited suffering altogether. This is the incredible promise of a technology called CRISPR. But of course, with such incredible power comes an equally incredible question.
And that's the ultimate ethical dilemma, isn't it? Just because we can rewrite the very code of life, does that mean we should? This question, it forces us to look deeper, to truly understand the power of the tool that we now hold in our hands. So, let's get into how this all works, because it's absolutely crucial to understand the science before we can even begin to have a meaningful discussion about the ethics. So, what exactly is this revolutionary technology? Well, here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine CRISPR as a kind of microscopic guidance system paired up with some biological scissors. It uses a guide molecule to find a very specific sequence in our DNA. Think of it as our body's instruction manual. And then, an enzyme acts like those scissors, making unbelievably precise changes. It can cut, it can remove, or it can even replace genes, basically correcting the very mistakes that are responsible for so many diseases. And this right here, this lays out the profound duality of this power. It's two sides of the same coin. You see, the exact same technology that could one day cure devastating inherited diseases could also be misused to try and design perfect humans. The tool that could treat cancer at its source could also create a terrible new form of inequality, a genetic divide between people. The power to prevent suffering is sitting right next to the danger of turning life itself into just another product to be bought and sold. And please make no mistake about this. This is not science fiction. This is not some far-off future. As we speak, clinical trials are happening. Patients with conditions like sickle cell disease have already seen their lives change dramatically. New, even more precise techniques are being developed all the time. This is the reality of medicine, right now, today. Okay, so with this incredible, almost unbelievable power in our hands, where do we possibly turn for guidance? Well, as Muslims, we turn to our faith. So let's explore the Islamic framework for this technology. And that conversation has to begin with the very nature of our own creation. The Quran tells us so beautifully that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us fi ahsani taqweem, which means in the best of forms. This principle, the idea that our very existence is honored and created with this perfect proportion, this is the foundation. It's the bedrock upon which every other consideration has to be built. And yet, our tradition doesn't tell us to just passively accept illness. Actually, it's quite the opposite. This powerful narration from our beloved prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, it establishes a clear mandate for us. It's actually the basis for a well-known Islamic legal principle, al-darar yuzal, which means that harm must be actively removed. This makes the pursuit of medicine a kind of sacred duty for us. And this, right here, just brilliantly illustrates the balance that our faith provides. The crucial distinction is this. There is an Islamic mandate to heal what is broken, to restore the body to that best of forms it was created in. But there is also a very clear ethical boundary against redesigning what is already whole. You see, this distinction respects the divine will, or qadar, not by passively accepting disease, but by understanding that searching for a cure is also part of Allah's plan. Our role is restoration, not recreation. And that brings us to a really central point. Knowledge, or ilm, is a divine gift from Allah. But, every single gift comes with a test. And that test is the amana, the sacred trust.
We have this profound responsibility to use this knowledge with wisdom, with humility, for the benefit of all creation, and never for its corruption. Now, this whole concept of responsible stewardship, it isn't new to our tradition at all. In fact, it is right at the very heart of our intellectual legacy. And we really have to understand where we came from to know where we should be going. I mean, let's not forget our own history. Muslim scholars were once the pioneers of medicine for the entire world. They performed surgeries, they wrote medical encyclopedias that were the standard for centuries. And what was their guiding principle? It was that knowledge was a tool to serve life, not to dominate it. They understood something fundamental, that you can never, ever separate ethics from expertise. So this incredible legacy, it brings us right back to the core questions that a technology like CRISPR forces upon us. When does our noble quest for healing cross that dangerous line into arrogance? And who gets to decide which lives are acceptable enough to exist and which ones are seen as flawed? These are heavy questions. And here is the fundamental truth that we have to grapple with. Our technology has simply outpaced our collective wisdom. The tools can alter the very building blocks of our existence, but it is only a firm moral and ethical framework, our deen, that can truly ensure human dignity is protected through this revolution. So, what does all of this mean for us, right here, today? It means this isn't a conversation for other people to have. It's a responsibility. It's our responsibility to carry forward, especially for the next generation.
And I want to speak directly to the young Muslims who are watching this right now, to the medical student, to the biotech researcher, to the future geneticist. Listen, your faith is not a weakness. It is not a limitation in the field of science. It is your single greatest moral advantage. It is the compass that so many other people are desperately searching for right now. Because look, the world doesn't just need more brilliant scientists. It has plenty of those. It needs scientists with a conscience. The Ummah needs doctors with unwavering faith with Iman. We need innovators whose primary motivation is a deep reverence for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not just fame or profit. You are not late to this field. You are desperately needed in it.
Our ancestors, guided by their faith, they literally changed the world with their knowledge. They built hospitals while others were building castles. They wrote foundational medical texts while others were writing tales of conquest. They left behind a legacy of ethical science. And so, the question for you is, what will you build now? Presented and created by Neuron Studio.